Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things ready through a common sense lens. And you know, it's been really funny to see the purge of all of the diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense that Disney and Hollywood have been forcing into children's entertainment for a very long time. Because Disney has finally figured out that that stuff does not sell. Parents will not in any way, shape, or form let their children anywhere near that kind of stuff. And they've got a lot of heavy criticism specifically for some of their depictions of specific ethnicities out there and the way they depict them on screen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, more of the woke purge continues on because Disney has now canceled another diversity, inclusion, and equity show out there. And ladies and gentlemen, it is none other than Primos. Probably haven't heard of it, probably not in any way, shape, or form, but this is something that was supposed to represent Mexican American culture in a positive light and be able to introduce this to a broader audience. But of course, just like every other thing all of the white people over there at Disney know how to do is, of course, do a bunch of ridiculous over-the-top stereotypes and completely and totally upset the majority of the actual Hispanic culture and the actual Hispanic people in the United States. I mean, does anybody remember the Latinx nonsense, the Latin X, or whatever the hell they wanted to call that nonsense? I mean, seriously, that was probably the stupidest move we've seen from the woke spirit of the age possessed cult out there in a long time, and it completely and totally backfired and blew up in their faces. And it looks like Disney had the exact same thing happen with Primos, and since the company is broke and doesn't have the money to push into a bunch of this nonsense anymore and continue this failed path at trying to reach some modern audience that simply doesn't exist, well, one more children's entertainment show that would have pursed absolute nonsense and garbage has now been canceled and will not see the light of day. And boys and girls, that is a beautiful thing to celebrate. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. And we're going to get into all of the juicy details of the information about this show, as well as all of the backlash and why Disney canceled it. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2K. We're on our way to 2,100, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Were you actually one of those people out there who knew about Primos? Were you excited about it, or did it seem like more of those ridiculous stereotypes that we get from Hollywood all the time when they're actually trying to represent a culture that they literally know nothing about? Or do you think this is a good sign that Disney is actually purging a lot of this nonsense from their children's entertainment and we actually might get good quality things going forward? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider checking out the links in the description down below, becoming a member, get your name at the end credits of every single one of our videos. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, from CosmicBook.News and our dear sweet Matt McGloin. Disney cancels DEI animated series Primos. Of course they did. And look at that. Isn't she just like, what is up with the animation these days? Like, this animation, like, is just become garbage. Does nobody know how to draw anymore? Why does children's entertainment have to look like this? I mean, you guys remember Batman, the animated series? Like, you remember Superman? You remember all that kind of stuff from back in the 90s? I mean, even the Animaniacs looked better than like this. The humans at least actually looked like humans. I don't know how to get up what this garbage is. I don't get it. It just does. It's not appealing to me. Why can't we actually have a good quality art and like realistic stuff going on in this? Everything's just got to be ridiculous and silly. I just don't like it. Anyway, that's Common Nerds ran off that one for a second. And another one bites the dust at Disney as the studio has canceled the one and done diverse multicultural kids animated series Primos. Oh, the horror, ladies and gentlemen, the absolute horror. Multicultural Disney show canceled. The series described as a new coming-of-age animated comedy. Yay! More coming-of-age stories for children so they can push all of the diversity nonsense and LGBT alphabet soup garbage in it. Because I guarantee you, had given it time, this little girl would have ended up being bi or non-binary or some other kind of garbage BS that they would have come up with this day. I guarantee it. We know how Disney was working for so long, boys and girls. Celebrates producer Natasha Klein's own multicultural blended Mexican-American family and her experience growing up as a second-generation Latina. Oh, she gets to be seen, boys and girls. Literally, the show is nothing more than a self-insert. Wow, it's not like we haven't seen this done before, now have we? The official description continues. Produced by Disney Television Animation, the original series follows Tourette's Ramsey Ramirez Humphrey, an eccentric girl who has big dreams for her future, and just one summer to figure them all out, when her mom throws a wrench in her plans by inviting all 12 of her cousins to visit. I mean, that's probably the most accurate truth about Mexicans. I mean, I literally have 6 kids. So when her mom throws a wrench, there we go. Tater braces for the worst, only to find herself having the best summer of her life. Tater and her dreams flourish, surrounded by a family who has not always understood her, but who loves and supports her for exactly who she is. Yay! Acceptance! You don't have to change to conform to the world. No, the world's gonna love you exactly as you are. Yeah, how's that worked out for our generations that want to walk around pretending they're cats and use litter boxes in a classroom? Yeah. We get confirmation of the cancellation of Primos after 1 season via Animation Magazine. Disney Television Animation representative confirmed to Animation Magazine, it's been canceled. So there you go. It is, and just look at the cast. Of course, you've got your favorite diverse character with the wonderful pink hair and the shaved head. Boy, I wonder what kind of things she talked about in the show. If it even is a she, I can't really tell from this art. Kinda weird. Apparently, there was also a big controversy surrounding Primos as it was targeted audience. Latinos criticized the show for using the wrong Spanish. Oh, color us shocked there. And this is supposedly produced and from the visionary mind of a person who grew up as a second generation Hispanic in the United States out there, and you couldn't even get the Spanish right? Or was it they just hired you as a diversity, inclusion, and equity hire? That's the only reason you were actually there, and you actually had no legitimate creative control over the show in any way, shape, or form. Would not be the first time that we'd seen somebody do something like this, so you didn't even have the ability to make sure that they were using the right Spanish. I wonder why Latinos weren't interested in this show in any way, shape, or form. As well as relying on old Latino stereotypes. Oh, color us shocked there. Hollywood is the one that accuses everybody of being an Islamophobe, yet they're the ones that use all of the contrived stereotypes when it comes to every group out there. I mean, seriously. All you needed in this one was for a banker to show up and be a Jew. I mean, come on, boys and girls. And lacking authentic cultural representation. Wow, you mean a bunch of white people at Disney didn't know how to produce a show about Mexicans? Color me shocked there. Primos canceled at Disney joins the planned DEI Tiana series, which was canceled and was about Disney's first black princess from The Princess and the Frog. I mean, they couldn't even properly bring off an actual good Tiana show, which is actually a pretty beloved princess out there. A lot of fans really like her. They really enjoy that movie. We're not even going to talk about the abomination that's over there at Disney World right now. But other than that, the character's really beloved. They couldn't even pull that off. An actual original black character that Disney created, and they couldn't even pull that one off. Obviously, the Princess and the Frog story is one that's old as time, but still, at the exact same time, you couldn't even pull that one off with your own original characters. This just shows you how bad the brain rot inside of the Walt Disney Corporation is, under the heading of course, our dear sweet Bob Iger, boys and girls, because that is the problem that we have right now. They hired people based on immutable characteristics and not content of their character, not the quality, not their talent, not any of their merit. No, just based on immutable characteristics, so that way the CEOs and the executives of all of those different little sections and the managing heads would get their bonuses at the end of every quarter. We know that to be a fact, and they have done that. They have forced so many people out that actually had the talent and the ones that were actually making Disney great that they now can't even pull off a Tiana's television show. How pathetic is that? How far has the Disney brand fallen under Bob Iger that you can't even get one of your original characters before all of the diversity, inclusion, and equity, virtue signaling, and forced agenda-driven nonsense actually existed and was seen very obviously inside of the company? You had a character that a lot of people actually loved, and you couldn't even pull that off. This is the worst part, because even if you don't know anything about a particular subject, whether it be Hispanic culture in America or whether it be a comic book character out there that you're going to adapt, if you do the work, if you do the research, you can figure it out and do it properly. You go talk to people that know about the subject matter. You go and read about it. You research about it. You hire advisors that actually know the subject matter better than you do, that are actual subject matter experts, and you can pull this off properly. But the problem that we face in Hollywood over and over and over again, every single time is the ego and the narcissism. They think they know best. They think they can rewrite it in their own image. They think they can be like the Most High, and it fails miserably every time. They are not the bestest, fastest thing that has ever come around. They are not God's gift to the world in any way, shape, or form. They are just another generation with way too much ego and not enough talent. And that's why you see things like this, things like Primos, fail and flop, because they cannot set themselves aside to actually try to get into somebody else's shoes and actually take advice. Needless to say, boys and girls, they need to read a little bit more Proverbs. Disney also canceled Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur after 2 seasons, which followed the adventures of a 13-year-old super genius, Lahila Lafayette, and her 10-ton T-Rex, Devil Dinosaur. Yay, what a wonderful name, Devil Dinosaur. That's exactly what I want that's exactly the kind of character name that I want my children to be ingratiated into. Sure. Disney has also removed Marvel DEI content, including Marvel's Project Hero, Marvel's Empower, and Marvel's Voices Rising, the music of Wakanda Forever. Disney Lucasfilm also canceled The Acolyte after 1 season. So this is what it's coming down to. Disney is broke, and the things that don't make them any money, that don't profit, that don't get them any ratings, that don't get them any positive fan viewership are getting canceled. And that's what it is. This stuff was the old ass garbage that this company got themselves in bed with, chasing the modern audience, chasing all of this representation and inclusivity and all of the rest of the nonsense that completely and totally blew up in their faces, right? Cost them billions of dollars at the box office, cost them billions of dollars on their television and streaming services. This is what is going to continue to happen. Why? Because the majority of the people actually pulling the levers inside the Walt Disney Corporation never were true believers. They know this stuff doesn't sell. They know this stuff doesn't work. And guess what? They ain't got all the money in the world like they used to continue to frivolously spend on things that don't give them any return on their efforts. And that's exactly what this stuff is. So diversity, inclusion, and equity is out in Hollywood, at least at Disney for now, at least in this current form. They're canceling things left and right. It is a complete and total woke purge over there at the Walt Disney Company. And what it comes down to is it's not so much that they're purging it from an ideology standpoint. It's not because they don't want to push this agenda. It simply doesn't sell. The majority of the audiences out there, the majority of the fans do not agree with this nonsense, and they don't especially want it in their children's television out there. You decided to pander to a group that you thought would just automatically show up because what? You put some tacos and tamales in the show? This never was going to pan out because of your ego and your narcissism. You are not willing to accept advice. You are not willing to see things from another person's perspective. And this is why you will continue to fail, Disney, because not canceling all of the woke and diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense is not going to be enough. You actually have to give us good quality storytelling at the exact same time. And the Bob Iger Corporation version of Walt Disney that we have right now, I don't think is honestly capable of that. And they will continue to fail going forward. But at the end of the day, boys and girls, fans decide, and Disney will get exactly what it deserves.